very good morning, my dear students. I am very glad you meet you again through this online class. Today we are going to see the continuation of the last class session. In that last class, we have learned what is meant by share market and the meaning of the terms we are using in the share market, and also we have done various type of questions related to the invested amount and the dividend that is obtained by dividend per share, right? First of all, I recall the formula to find the invested amount and also to find the dividend, right? Okay, how do we get the invested amount? Invested amount can be calculated by, I already told you in the last class, invested amount can be calculated by multiplying the number of shares by a price per share. How do we calculate the invested amount? Invested amount can be calculated by multiplying the number of shares by a price per share. And also dividend income can be calculated by multiplying the again number of shares by a dividend per share. Here dividend per share is company gives as a income to investors for their benefits, right? So dividend amount can be calculated by multiplying the number of shares by a dividend per share, right? Okay, and also these are the important things we have learned in the last class. Today we are going to see the another important things that are using in the share market. Okay, again I have noted some those terms with an examples. Now let us see these points. First one, primary market. Okay, what do you mean by primary market? Primary market is the market where investors buy new shares issued by a company is called a primary market. Primary market means, primary market is also the market where the investors buy new shares issued by a company is called the primary market. This means here company sell new stocks and bonds to the public for the first time. Here company sells new stocks and bonds to the public for the first time, such as with an initial public offering, right? Okay, here shares can only be bought in the primary market. Here in this primary market, shares can only be bought in the primary market, and purchases are done directly from issuing company at the initial price stated by company itself. Here that is very important. In the primary market, shares can only be bought in the primary, and also purchases are done directly from issuing company at the initial price stated by the company itself, right? Okay, what do you mean by secondary market? Secondary market is also the market where the investors sell or buy from others is called a secondary market. What do you mean by that? Secondary market is where the investors sell or buy from others is called a secondary market. This means in the secondary market, buying and selling of shares are done, right? In this market, buying and selling of shares are done, right? And also here increases and decreases in the price of a share occur in the secondary market. In secondary markets, increases or decreases in the price of a share is occur, right? This means the market price of a share varies with time depending on the demand. Here the increase and decreasing in the price of a share is depending with time on the demand, right? Okay, now let us see another point, purchase price. Purchase price also the price at which a share is bought. Here the price at which a share is bought in a company at the initial offering or later is called a purchase price. Here purchase price means the price at which a share is bought in a company at the initial offering or later is called a purchase price. Or otherwise we can say that the purchase price is the price an investor pays for an investment. Or otherwise we can say the purchase price is the for an investor pays for an investment, right? Okay, for example, when you bought a share from a certain company, the company marked a certain amount for a share to investors, right? So those marketed price is called as a purchase price, right? Okay, what do you mean by selling price? Selling price is also the price at which it is sold is called a selling price of share. Here selling price means when the share you bought in from a company, which is sold at the market price. So that is price is called as a selling price of a share, right? Okay. Another important thing, capital gain and capital loss. This is very important. Here, when the investor sells shares, right, they may make a profit or incur a loss, right? When the investor sells the shares to others, they may make a profit or otherwise make a loss, right? According to it, if the selling price greater than purchase price, when the investor sells according to the selling price greater than purchase price, then that investor make a capital gain, right? When the selling price greater than purchase price, then the investor make a capital gain. So the capital gain can be obtained from subtracting the purchase price from the selling price, right? Here capital gain can be obtained from subtracting the purchase price from the selling price. Likewise, when the investor sells the share according to the selling price less than purchase price, then investor make a capital loss. So this capital loss can be obtained from subtracting the selling price from purchase price, right? Capital gain can be obtained from subtracting the purchase price from selling price, but in the capital loss can be obtained from subtracting the selling price from purchase price, right? This is very important, capital gain and capital loss, right? Okay. Okay, after you have understand the meaning of it, now you will able to do the questions easily. Now go to the question number 1. Question number 1, Sunita, I read it. Sunita bought 4,000 shares worth rupees 30 per share and sold all her shares when the market price reached to rupees 40. Find the percentage capital gain of Sunita. Right here, I read it again. Sunita bought 4,000 shares, right, worth rupees 30 per share, right, and sold all her shares. We sold all 4,000 shares when the market price reached to increase to rupees 40. The question is, we need to find the percentage capital gain of Sunita. Here, I can do in two methods in this question. First method, we can find the capital gain through the finding the invested amount and the selling amount. But in the second method is very easier than the first method. The second method, we can find the percentage of capital gain through the capital gain per share, right? This is the very easiest than the previous, okay? First, we may write the data of this question. Here, Sunita bought 4,000 shares, right? Sunita bought 4,000 shares, right? Each market price of a share is rupees 30, right? And sold all her shares. She sold all 4,000 shares, right? She sold all 4,000 shares when the market price increased to rupees 40, right? These are the data from this question, right? First of all, I will do in the method 1, right? Okay. Method 1. First of all, we have to find the invested amount and then have to find the selling amount, then difference between two amounts. So you will obtain the value for the capital gain. After that, convert into the percentage sign, right? So in the first method, first of all, we have to find the invested amount. How do we find the invested amount? Here, Sunita bought 4,000 shares. I already told you in the last class. How do we find the invested amount? Multiplying the number of shares by a price per share. So, invested amount can be calculated by multiply the number of shares here. Sunita bought 4,000 shares. So, multiply the 4,000 by price per share is also given. So, that is 30. So, rupees 4 into 3 how much? 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. Add to it. So, this means 120,000 is the invested amount. Then, we can find the selling amount. So, what is the selling amount? Selling amount is here. The question says Sunita bought 4,000 and also sell also 4,000 shares. So, selling amount, multiply the 4,000 shares by he increased the market price to 40. She sell all the shares. So, the multiply by 40. So, you rupees 4 into 4, 16 at 402 it, so 160,000 is the selling amount. So find the difference between two amounts, you will obtain the capital gain of Sunita. Okay, capital gain can be obtained from, what is the difference between selling amount and invested amount? Subtract 160,000, 120,000. So subtract 120,000 from 160,000. So you will obtain rupees 40,000 is the capital gain. Right? Now you will be able to find the, okay, now you will be able to find the right. Okay, now we can find the percentage of capital gain. Okay, how do we find the percentage of capital gain? How do we find the percentage of capital gain? Here invested amount we have found it, that is 120,000, and also capital gain also we have found it, that is 40,000. So convert into 100, so you will obtain answer for the percentage of capital gain. So here 4 zeros and 4 zeros are cancel out, and 4 into 3 times 12, so 100 by 3, that is 33, and 1/3% is the capital gain of Sunita. Right? This is the method 1. Right? Okay, method 2. Okay, method 2 is, okay, method 2, finding the percentage of capital gain through the capital gain per share. Right? Okay, first of all we may find the capital gain per share. Capital gain per share. Okay, how do you find the capital gain per share? Here purchase price is rupees 30 and also selling price is rupees 40. First of all you have to find the difference between two amounts. So rupees 40 minus rupees 30, so you will obtain for the rupees 10 is the capital gain per share. Right? Then you can easily to find the percentage of capital gain. Okay, percentage of capital gain. You found the capital gain per share and also the purchase price also given. So out of 30, capital gain per share is 10 when multiplied by 100. 10 and 10 cancel out. So again 100 by 3. So you will obtain the same answer, 33, and 1/3% is the capital gain of Sunita. So I think remember this method. Students, please remember this method. I think this is the easiest than the first method. Right? Okay, when you if you are asking to find the percentage of the capital gain or loss, you can check the capital gain per share is the easiest method. Right? Okay. Second one. Ruan bought 4,000 shares worth rupees 50 per share and sold all his shares when the market price reached to rupees 60. Find the percentage capital gain of Ruan. This is also similar to the previous question. Right? Ruan bought 4,000. First of all, we may write the date of this question. Right? Here Ruan bought 4,000 shares. Right? When the market price of each share is rupees 50 and sold all his shares. So Ruan sold all the 4,000 shares when the market price increased to rupees 60. Right? Here we need to find the percentage capital gain of Ruan. How do we find the percentage capital gain? I already told you the easiest method is finding the percentage of capital gain through the capital gain per share is the easiest method than the any other method. Right? Okay. First of all, we need to find the capital gain per share. Right? Capital gain per share. Okay, how do you find the capital gain per share? First of all, find the difference between the purchase amount and the selling amount. So Here purchase amount is also given and also selling amount also given. So we have to find the difference between two amounts. So rupees 60 minus rupees 50 is rupees 10 is the capital gain per share. From this capital gain per share, we can find the percentage of capital gain easily, right? Here when you find the percentage of capital gain, here purchase price is also given, that is 50, and also capital gain per share we have already found it, that is 10. When converted to percentage out of 100, so you will obtain answer for the percentage of capital gain of 1. Here 10 10 cancel out, and here 5 into 10 2 times, so 20 is the percentage of capital gain of 1. So the when you are asking to find the percentage of capital gain or loss, you can take the capital gain per share is the easiest method, right? Before without finding the invested amount and the selling amount, right? Okay. Next one. Now go through the question number 3. Complete the following table. This table related to the amount invested indicated by rupees, and also amount market price of a share indicated also the rupees, and number of shares, and income from annual dividend of rupees 3 per share indicated also rupees, right? First one, amount invested and the market price of a shares are given. Here you have to find the number of shares and income of this share, right? Okay, how do we find the number of shares? Divide the amount invested by 25, right? Divide the amount invested, that is 50,000, by 25. You will obtain the answer for number of shares, right? So 25 2 times 50, so 2000 is the number of shares, right? Okay, from the number of shares we can find the income easily, because the dividend per share is also given. So multiplying the number of shares by 3, so you will obtain answer for the rupees 6000 is as an income of this investor. Here no need to write the rupee sign because it is already given in the table, right? Okay. Consider the next one. Here market price of a share and the income of the investors are given. So from the income we can find the number of shares easily. How do we find the number of shares from the income? Divide this income by dividend per share, so you will obtain the answer for the number of shares, that is which amount, that is 500, right? Okay. Here from this number of shares and the market price we can easily to find the amount invested, that is multiply the 500 by 40, so that is equal to rupees 5 into 4 20, add to 302 it, so rupees 20,000 is the amount invested, right? Okay. The third question, third part, here amount invested and the income are given. So we need to find the market price of a share and also number of shares, right? First of all, I think we may find the number of shares easily from the income. So how do you find the number of shares from the income? Divide this income 3000 by dividend per share, you will obtain for the number of shares, that is 3 into 3 one time, so that is 1000 is the number of shares. From this number of shares and the amount invested, we can find the market price of a share easily. How do you find the market price of a share? From the amount invested and number of shares, divide the amount invested by number of shares, you will obtain for the market price of a share, right? Here 30 and 30 cancel out, so the remaining is 75. So market price of a share is 70. No need to write the rupee sign, right? Okay. Consider the fourth one. Market price of a share and the number of shares are given, right? From this, how do you find the income and amount invested, right? From the number of shares and the dividend per shares are given, so we can find the income easily. How do you find the income? Here number of shares, that is 500 multiplied by 3, so you will obtain for, that is 1500 is the income, right? Then the amount invested can be calculated by multiplying this number of shares by a market price of a share. So 15 multiplied by 500, so that is equal to 55 into 5, that is 75. Add to 208, so 7500 is the amount invested. Last one, amount invested is amount invested and the number of shares are given. So here from these two we can find the market price of a shares easily. So how do you find the market price of a share? Divide the 120,000 by 2,000. Right, 30 and 30 cancel out, and 2 into 6 times 12. So 60 is the rupees 60 is the market price of a share. Here number of share is given, and also dividend per share is also given. So how do we calculate the income? So multiply the number of shares by dividend per share, that is equal to rupees 6,000. Right? Okay. Please memorize the formula to find the invested amount and the dividend, students. Invested amount can be calculated by multiplying the number of shares by a price per share, market price per share, and the dividend amount can be calculated by dividend amount or income can be calculated by multiplying the number of shares by dividend per share. Right? Okay. Now go through the question number 4. Right? Okay. Question number 4. Ramesh bought 5,000 shares in a certain company when the market price was rupees 40 per share. He then sold all these shares when the market price had increased to rupees 50 per share. Here the question is Ramesh bought 5,000 shares. So from this question we may write the formula, we may write the data. Ramesh bought 5,000 shares in a certain company when the market price of this share each rupees 40, right? Okay. Then he sold all 5,000 shares to other investor when the market price increased to rupees 50, right? Okay. First question, find the Ramesh capital gain per share. Find the Ramesh capital gain per share. How do you find the Ramesh capital gain per share? First part, how do you find the capital gain per share? First of all, we need to find the difference between two amount, right? Okay, so now subtract 40 from 50, so you will obtain answer for the rupees 10 is the capital gain per share, right? Here 40 is the purchase price and 50 is the selling price, so the difference between two amounts obtained by a capital gain per share, right? Okay. Second part, find his capital gain due to the selling all the shares, right? Find his capital gain due to selling all these shares. Here the question says Ramesh bought 5,000 shares and sold all 5,000. So the capital gain due to the selling amount, what is the value? Capital gain due to the selling amount is Ramesh sell all shares, so 5,000 multiplied by we have already found the capital gain per share, that is 10 rupee. So rupees 5 into 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 add to it. So rupees 50,000 is the capital gain due to the selling all the shares, right? Okay. Next question, question number 5. A businessman invested rupees 40,000 and bought shares in a certain company at the market price of rupees 40 per share. At the end of the year, he received dividends of 10% of his investment. After receiving this income, he sold all his shares at rupees 50 per share. Okay. First of all, we may write the data of this question. Here, businessman invested rupees 40,000. So invested amount is rupees 40,000. Invested amount is rupees 40,000 and bought shares in a certain company. So we don't know the number of shares, right? The bought shares in a certain company, let us take as X. At the market price of each share is rupees 40. Market price also given that each share is rupees 40 per share. At the end of a year, he received the dividends of 10% of his investment. So the dividend income also given, right? That is equal to 10% of the investment amount, right? Okay. After receiving this income, he sold all his shares. So we don't know the number of shares, right? After receiving this income, he sold all the shares at rupees 50 per share. So selling price is rupees 50 per share, right? Part 1. Find the annual income the businessman received from the company. How do we find the annual income the businessman received from the company? Here the question says he received the dividend of 10% of his investment. So we can find the annual income straight away of this question. That is 10% of this investment. 10% means out of 100, right? Okay, 10 by 100 multiplied by, that is annual investment is rupees 40,000, right? Okay, then 2020 cancel out. So rupees 4 into 1 4, then add to 302 it. So 4,000 is the annual income of the businessman, right? Okay, second part. Find the annual dividends the company paid per share. Here the question, we need to find the annual dividend per share. How do we find the dividend per share? In the part 1, we found the income, right? But we don't find the number of shares. First of all, before finding the dividend per share, first of all, we need to find the number of shares. Okay, how do we find the number of shares? Here invested amount is given and also market price of a per share is also given. So divide the investment amount by market price of a share. You will obtain for the 0 cancel out one time. So 1000 is the number of shares he bought from a company, right? From this number of shares we can find the dividend per share easily. Okay, how do you find the dividend per share? From the part 1 we got the annual income, that is 4,000. Here we got the number of shares. So divide the income by number of shares. You will obtain for the rupees 4 is a company pays the dividend per share, right? Rupees 4 is the company pays the dividend per share, right? Okay, third part, third question. Find the amount the businessman received by selling his shares. Okay, here the question is we need to find the selling amount to sold all shares, right? Okay, here we know the number of shares. The question says he sold all the shares when the market price increased to rupees 50. So multiplied by number of shares. So we found it, that is 1000 by a selling price is also given, that is rupees 50, right? Okay, now you will obtain for the rupees 5 into 1 5 1 2 3 4 0 add to it. So rupees 50,000 is the selling his shares selling amount, right? Okay, next question. Find his capital gain. How do you find the capital gain? Find his capital gain. Here from this part 3 we found the selling amount and also question given, that is the invested amount also 40,000. First of all find the difference between two amounts, so you will find obtain the capital gain, right? So the capital gain, subtracting 40,000 from 50,000, right? Okay, 50,000 minus 40,000 is the 10,000 is the capital gain of the investor, right? Okay, okay, careful. Okay, now go through the sixth one, right? Devinda invested equal amounts into two companies, right? He bought shares in one company which pays annual dividends of 4 rupee per share at the market price of 20 rupee per share, and shares in the second company which pays annual dividends of 5 rupee per share at the market price of rupees 25 per share. So the question is express his income from each company as a percentage of the amount invested. Hint also given. Take the amount that he invested in each company to be rupees X, right? So first of all we may write the data of this question. Devinda invested into two company, right? So we see the first company as first and second company as second, right? So Devinda invested equal amounts into two company, but the invested amount that is given, let us take as a X rupee. So invested amount is rupees X in each company, right? So here also rupees x and here also rupees x, right? In the first company, which pays the annual dividend is rupees 4 per share, and also market price is rupees 20 per share, right? But in the second company, annual dividend rupees 5 per share and the market price is rupees 25 per share, right? The question, we need to find the income from the each company as a percentage of the amount invested. First of all, we need to find the income first, then change into the percentage of amount invested. How do you find the income from these both company? Here, in first company and second company, we don't know the number of shares. First of all, we need to find the number of shares, then after you can find the income easily in both companies, right? Then add to 2, you will obtain answer for the total income from this both company, right? In the first company, how do you find the number of shares? Here invested amount is given, that is x. So in the first company, right, in the first company, number of shares can be calculated by divide the invested amount, that is take as x, and by market price of a share is rupees 20. So the income can be calculated from this number of shares, multiply this number of shares x by 20 by dividend per share is also given, that is 4. So simplify it, 4 into 5 times, so rupees x by 5 is the income from the first company. He got the Davinda got the income from first company is x by 5. Okay, similar to the in the second company. What is the number of shares he bought? How do we find the number of shares? Divide the, again also here also equal amount invested, so that is also x by, but price per share is 25. So income can be calculated by multiply this number of shares by dividend per share is, that is 5, right? Okay, then simplify it, 5 into 5 times 5, so x by 5 is the income from the company, second company. Okay, right. Okay, what is the total income? Okay, what is the total income from the both company Davinda got? The total income as at x by 5 to x by 5. Okay, here denominators are equal in the algebraic fraction, so you take the common denominator as 5, then add to numerator to it, so x plus x, that is 2x by 5, right? Okay, but the question, we need to find the income from each company as a percentage of the amount invested. How do we find the percentage of the amount invested? Here, total income, we got it, that is 2x by 5, and the total invested amount also, we know that is x plus x, that is 2x. So 2x by 5 divided by 2x multiplied by 100, you will obtain for the percentage of the amount invested of income, right? Okay, this means 2x by 5 divided by 2x. This means 2x by 5 divided by 2x multiplied by 100. So 2x by 5, when changed into the multiplication symbol, it is changed as a reciprocal of, what's the reciprocal of 2x? 1 upon 2x, then multiplied by 100. So 2x are cancel out, 2x are cancel out, right? And also 5 into 100 20 times, right? Okay, now the answer is 20%, right? Okay, right, now go through the next question. So last question. Okay, seventh one. An investor invested a certain amount from the 70,000 in hand to buy shares in a company, which pays annual dividend of rupees 3 per share at the market price of rupees 30 per share. The rest of the money he invested in a company that pays annual dividend of rupees 4 per share and the both shares at the market price rupees 20 per share. If his dividend income for a year from this investment was 9,500, find the amount he invested in each company. Right here, total income from these both companies is given 9,500. We need to find the amount he invested in a company. Right? Here, number of shares also we don't know in two company. So first of all, we have to find the number of shares. Then we may find the invested amount easily. Right? How do you find the invested amount? Here, total income of both companies are given. So we can construct the equation in terms of x. Right? Then as we simplify that equation, you can get the value of unknown term easily. Right? Now let us take as x as the amount invested in the first company. Now let us take the amount invested in first company as x. Right? Okay, now name it as the first company as first company and second company in second. Now let us take the amount invested in first company as rupees x. So the remaining is in the second company. What is the amount of remaining? 70,000 minus x rupees is the amount invested of the second company. Right? Okay. Then we may write the data of this question first. Here from the question, which annual dividend per share is also given, that is rupees 3 from the first company, and also market price of the per share is also given, that is 30 rupee. And also in the second company pays the annual dividend, that is rupees 4, and also market price of the dividend per share is also rupees 20. Okay, and also both income also given, total income from both companies, that is 9,500. Okay, first of all we have to find the invested amount from this both company. Before finding the invested amount, we have to find the number of shares first. How do you find the number of shares in first company? Here invested amount we take as the rupees x. So divide the invested amount x by market price 30. So income can be calculated by multiplying this number of shares by a dividend per share, that is also given 3. So simplify it, 3 into 10. So x by 10 is the income of the investor from the first company. Right? Okay, what is the income from the second company? Again, we have to find the number of shares of the second company. So here, invested amount, remainder of the x, so 70,000 minus x divided by, here rupees 20 is the market price of a share. So income can be calculated multiplying this 70,000 minus x by 20 by dividend per share is also given, that is 4. Okay, then simplify it. Here 4 into 5 times. Right? Okay, from these two, total income, here we have found the first income from the first company is x by 10, and also from the second company is this. So add to 2, x by 10 plus 70,000 minus x by 5. Right? It's equal to the question total income is also given, that is 9,500. Right? Okay, how do you solve it? Here 10, denominator here 10, here 5. What is the common denominator? 10. So multiply this numerator by 2. So 70,000 minus x equal to 9,500. X plus bracket removing, so 440,000 minus 2x by cross multiplying you will obtain for the 95,000. Right? Okay, what is the value? Minus 2x plus x minus x plus 140,000 is equal to 95,000. Right? Okay, again simplify it. X is equal to 140,000 minus 95,000. What is the value? 140,000 minus 95,000. That is rupees 45,000. Right? Okay. So the invested amount he invested in the first company is 45,000. So the first company invested amount is 45,000. We found it. What is the income? Sorry, what is the invested amount in the second company? Subtracting. The question is. See the question. The question is Devinda. Sorry, investor invested certain company from 70,000 in a hand. So you subtract 70,000. You subtract 45,000 from 70,000, right? You subtract 45,000 from 70,000, so you will obtain for the rupees 25,000 is the invested amount in the second company. Okay, students, are you clear? Okay, hope you all got the knowledge about this unit. Next class we will start the midpoint theorem. Okay, before that you have to do the questions related to the share market that are in the textbook. If you have any doubts, you may ask via Viber. Okay, students, thank you. Keep learning. Bye.